Welcome everybody to Canadian Yorker Guys. So, just wanted to bring you an interesting video and wanted to give you guys some uh, updates. Just covering some issues, some of the issues that are going on currently within the United States, and more specifically talking about women's sports. So there have been some controversial. It is controversial in the sense of people and what people think about women's sports. And so there's a couple of articles that I'm bringing to you. Well, one article I'm bringing to you. So it's there's a activist named Riley Gaines. I think she's also a college student. She calls on Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles to speak out on transgender athletes in women's sports. And this article is from marca.com. So it says here that Riley Gaines has called on Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles to join her in speaking out against the inclusion of transgender women in women's sports. Riley Gaines hasn't been shy in her stance ever since the University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas set NCAA women's record as a transgender woman in the 2021-2022 season. Again, this article was just written on February 3rd, 2025. So just about last month ago, this has been going on. Continuing, says never one to be shy in making her stance known. Riley Gaines is now hoping that women like Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles use their platform to speak out on the matter as well. Riley Gaines said, quote, telling Fox News Digital, people who think I would be critical to this movement are, of course, women like Caitlin Clark, people like Simone Biles, who I think is definitely a stretch, but these are women who have been able to shatter glass ceilings and break barriers, who are role models to young girls across the country. She also said, quote, to have them emphatically say they who are trans athletes do not belong in women's sports would be solved across all levels like yesterday if they were willing to deal with this. There has been a lot of national talk regarding Leah Thomas' inclusion on the UPenn women's swim team. That same talk extended to San Jose's University's women's volleyball team player Blair Fleming, who also competes as a trans player. Excuse me. Riley Gaines filed a lawsuit against the NCAA in which she claimed SJSU's volleyball coaches and college administrators withheld information about Fleming's birth sex. Fleming's teammate Brooke Slusser, who has also joined the lawsuit. Brooke Slusser, and 10 other former or current Mountain West players, and the SJSU associate head coach Melissa Beatty Smoose later files a lawsuit against SJSU's head coach, the college, and the MWC. They're looking for Fleming to be declared ineligible for the MWC tournament, SJSU's wins to be vacated, and the team to be deemed ineligible for the conference tournament. Back in December, NCAA President Charlie Baker told a Senate committee that there were fewer than 10 trans athletes competing that he was aware of. So there's the article from marca.com on the current controversy occurring in women's sports. There's another article. It's a more recent one. It's about a month later. So it says here, excuse me, Riley Gaines called out Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles. I'm sorry, the other article was written March 2nd, not February 2nd, because it's in different publisher who wrote that. So it says here, former NCAA swimmer turned conservative influencer Riley Gaines has been outspoken about the issue of transgender athletes in women's sports. By the way, the second article is written by the Spun.com. Says, continuing, Gaines rose to prominence when she spoke out against transgender former University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas a few years ago. In 2023, Riley Gaines argued against the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports in front of a Senate Judiciary Committee, and she's continued to fight for her cause in various ways, including through her partnership with XXXY Athletics, calling itself the only athletic brand that stands up for women's rights. XXXY Athletics is clear on its mission and unapologetic about our goal. The company is the first athletic wear brand to speak publicly in favor of banning transgender competitors in women's sports. In an interview with Fox News Digital, Gaines called out two of the most prominent women's sports stars in America, Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles, and urged them to partner with XXXY and join the movement to keep transgender women out of women's sports. We have read that before. Continuing the article, if we're being honest, there's no chance Gaines is inspiring Biles or Clark to come out in support of her goals. Even if one of them feels the same way as Gaines, they are not going to admit so publicly, as both the most decorated American gymnasts and the new face of WNBA are pretty careful about any major statements they give. Jennifer Shea, the founder of XXXY, said to Fox News Digital, said, quote, "We are always encouraging more female athletes to join the fight, and we'd love to work with anyone standing up for the integrity of women's sports. We are in constant conversations with those who have stood up or are considering doing so. We believe this ends when athletes defend women's sports in large numbers. We don't." And so, guys, there's the articles, these two articles here, kind of going into a little bit more detail about transgender athletes in women's sports. Now, they are fighting a cause. They're fighting for the cause. There are women that are fighting for the cause of women's sports, to not have transgender athletes in women's sports. But at the same time, there are people on the other side of the aisle who are also fighting to keep transgender women in women's sports. So, what do you guys think about this story, this situation occurring in women's sports? It's just been going on for the past 3-4 years now, and I mean longer than 3-4 years, but it definitely has just come to the forefront of in the national media, and in the not so much talked about as much on the national stage in the media, but it's definitely gained a lot of traction to get to this point. I believe that over the past 3-4 years, it has definitely gained a lot of traction and a lot of resistance. And it's just, if they're not into women's sports, then it kind of wouldn't matter to anyone who's not into women's sports. But for those who do care, it obviously means it's a big issue, especially for those who have daughters or sisters or mothers or aunts or nieces. This is a big issue for those who have, everybody has, but daughters, sisters, nieces, aunts, everybody has them. So, what do you guys think about this? Riley Gaines is calling out Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles. Are they going to respond in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, these two are some of the richest women in the sports world. Simone Biles is, as the article said, the most decorated American gymnast in American sports. She's won a lot of medals, gold medals. She is one of the top tier female athletes out there. Caitlin Clark, definitely one of the most amazing women basketball players. Um, but at the same time, she's a great basketball player. Uh, she hasn't won a WNBA championship, but she did break the college record. She broke Pete Maverick's record in the WNBA, and so that has made her a national icon. And she's definitely one of the most popular uh, basketball players, women's basketball players, in not only in America but around the world. So, are they going to say something? But if they do say something, they could end up, how it is with if certain people who with influence, they have a lot of influence. If they do end up saying something about this situation, would it help the cause of those who are fighting for women's sports, or would it backfire on them in and then causing them to lose money? Because let's face it, money talks, and the BS, you know, when money talks, so if they say something, this could affect them, affect their baseline. But at the same time, it would definitely, maybe it would help them out more and more in the long run. So there's a lot that, there's a lot that could be done to aid the cause. And what will happen, we don't know, but we'll have to see what will happen going forward if Caitlin Clark and Simone Biles respond to Riley Gaines and make something happen. But I mean, at the same time, we have to think about this. They are the ones, Riley Gaines, Simone Biles, are the ones that are getting paid by these multi-billion-dollar companies, multi-billion dollars, and they are millionaires. Now, they work for these companies, and at the same time, just like us, who are regular, average Joe and Jane people, if we were to say something controversial and support something controversial, it could affect us. We could instantly be just eliminated, just replaced at our jobs. And looking at this today and what's going on with the economy, it seems that a lot of people are going through the motions. People dealing with high rent and high mortgage. People are going through struggles right now in everyday life. That's why it's important to always be kind to people, because you never know what someone else is going through. At the same time, people have to be careful about certain things. But when it comes to issues like what's going on with women's sports, well, you have to weigh in the balances. Look at the pros and cons. What are some things that would happen if I did do it? What were some things that would happen if I didn't do it? So, what do you guys think about this situation? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video.